All right. So something you should know if you're running Betaflight 4.3, there was basically a split in the firmware. And essentially, if you're running Betaflight 4.3, there's an earlier version and a later version. So that split happens in the configurator and the flight version. So you need to have them matched. So if you're running older 4.3 nightlies, you need to run older 10.8 nightlies. And if you're running newer 4.3 nightlies, you need to run newer 10.8 nightlies. And this is because of a change for the sliders, I believe, is the main reason.
So is this the version number at which there was a split?
No, the problem is I was not able to identify, and he doesn't say in the post what the version number is for the split. There's a date on the post, so you can kind of try to go back to the nightly from that date. But other than that, that's what we got.
And so there's a couple places where this pops up, and one is obviously if you are running a nightly build of 4.3, like let's say you're running, Mark Spatz has put out a build that he's vetted, and he says this is pretty bug-free and safe to use. So let's say you're running that nightly build, and then for some reason you go, I need to install the configurator on my new computer. So you download the 10.8 configurator, and you download the latest one on your new laptop. Well, now that's not compatible with the firmware that's on your quads anymore. It also goes the other way. There are manufacturers, a few of them right now, who are shipping their flight controllers with a nightly build of 4.3 on them.
Yes.
And you don't know whether that needs to be used with the new configurator or the old one, but presumably it's the old one. And what happens if you mix them up, Blunty? Like your quad explodes? No, what happens?
I don't think your quad explodes. I think it just writes the wrong config settings, but I don't know that like it's known exactly what conflicts they'll have.
It screws up your PIDs.
Yeah, they changed some of the sliders for PIDs. So I assume it will just write the wrong info to the PIDs.
Okay.
So yeah, there were enough changes where Chris Thompson felt like he needed to reach out and say like, hey, don't mix these. So
well, if they would just release the damn thing, then we wouldn't have this problem, Chris Thompson. But I understand that you're a very busy man. Though I think the safest thing to do right now is if you download a new configurator or if you download a new version of Betaflight 4.3, you should do that together. Don't if you have working stuff, and if you buy a new bind and fly or a flight controller that for some reason comes with a nightly 4.3, you don't want to use it with the newest configurator, or you want to update to a recent nightly.
Just a reminder that also includes CLI dumps and diffs and stuff.
Correct. The CLI dumps are no longer cross-compatible between this demarcation line, which we don't know what date. We know the date that he put this out, but
I was going to say if I needed to do this, I would go to like October 1st to go before it, and I would go to like October 5th to go after it, and just like shoot around the date,
Yeah, so. Makes sense. Okay. Bless me. Excuse me. Chris says all 4.3 testers should upgrade to the latest nightly versions of both firmware and configurator. So basically he's saying stop using the old stuff at all.
Yes.
So
I would just say like some of the manufacturer specific stuff, it may be hard to make sure you're doing it correctly. And if you can't copy the CLIs over, that's a concern. Like a lot of times with a specific board with a fancy target that's special, you want to do a dump and then have that, and then to not be able to paste that directly, it can be a little confusing. So just make sure you know what you're doing there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, these are the perils of using nightly builds, and I'm sure folks like Mark Spatz will get us sorted out in no time. Or the Betaflight devs could just release an RC, if they wanted to.